Hello, Internet, and welcome to Joe Theory, the only channel on YouTube that's never going to pin down a consistent opening tagline. Unfortunately, it is no longer news at this point that Matpat has officially retired from YouTube, passing the channel along to 4 new hosts. This was, and still is, a massive deal to millions of fans across the internet. Ever since his initial announcement of his retirement, I saw the internet become flooded with buzz about this news. So many fans were affected emotionally by this decision. For a lot of us, myself included, Matpat has been one of the constants in our lives. He's always been a really funny and entertaining guy, and he's honestly one of the more genuine people on the platform. Comparing him to other creators on this website, I think it's comparable to call him the PBS of the YouTube space, if that means anything to any of you in 2024. But rather than record some sappy message crying and singing my praises to him, I decided it would be a better use of my time and ADHD brain to put my efforts into making something a bit more quirky and a little bit more in spirit of his legacy. That's right, folks, it's time for some good old-fashioned research and data analysis. Today we're going to be covering the series that he is most infamously affiliated with. I don't even think I need to say it at this point.
Is this where you wanna be? I just don't get it. Why would you want to stay?
That's right, folks! We are going to be doing the impossible today and trying to figure out every single time Matpat has ever talked about FNAF across all 4 of his channels. And we're not just going to be talking about the dedicated videos. No. We are going through every single upload post FNAF 1 to see every time he made a silly little reference. We are not skimming past any fastball busters that Matthew Patthew dropped in his run. Now, this was a gargantuan task that I've wanted to do ever since the conception of this channel, but I never really got around to it because I figured it would take a year of non-stop theory binging to accomplish, and I'd run into the issue of by the time I would finish one channel, there would be like 15 new videos to tackle, getting stuck in the Faz loop. However, when Matpat's retirement came into the public eye, while I was devastated, I knew it was time to harness my destiny and dive into no man's land. So after reaching out to theorists across Reddit, Discord, Twitter, and YouTube, crafting a carefully cultivated group of about 50 theorists, and anyone who was willing to join me, honestly, there was really no bar of quality here, and a total of 6 days of non-stop watching, we ran the numbers, got the results, and without further ado, Matpat, this one's for you. Deciding to secure an early win under our belt to boost morale, we decided to work backwards and start with style theory. Now, before we jump right into all the numbers, I think it's important to first discuss how many videos we actually need to watch and how we can figure that out.
Hey, Joe. That's incredibly easy. Just go to YouTube and look at the video total and you—
Yeah, I thought so too, buddy. But then I figured out that YouTube factors in both privated videos and shorts into that total.
Seriously? God, this website is unintuitive.
I'm glad you think so. Here's a whole playlist on every video Matpat made on that exact idea. Have fun.
Excuse me? I have to do this too?
No, of course not. Only if you want to keep getting paid. Anyways, totaling up the videos was going to be a bit more involved of a process than we thought. And while we could have covered the shorts as well, that would severely add to the workload, and some of those are written and produced by other members of the team, so it was adding some weird variables into the calculations, so we just decided to skip them. So how many videos does that actually leave us with? Well, you might be surprised to see that out of the 102 videos YouTube counts, only 46 of those are style theory. That meant over half of the videos on the channel we just didn't have to dig through. Because of just how few videos were actually up on the channel, the team was able to chew through this entire channel within just a few hours. This was a huge morale boost for the team, as we were able to have a tangible accomplishment under our belt so early in this process. But now's as good a time as any to show off how we were tracking the information. I was able to make a fairly simple spreadsheet that not only tracked the videos, but if they had a reference, if they did, at what point, and who watched the video. The link to this entire document will be in the description as well. But to finally get into the interesting stuff, we were able to find a total of 7 references across the entire channel. Now, as a little bit of a spoiler warning, we're not going to be able to show every reference in this video due to just how many there are coming up, but since there are so few in style theory, here's a quick montage of them all. FNAF ketchup. Clocking those numbers in mean that there is a 15.21% chance that when you watch a Matpat style theory video, you know you might just get jump scared with the team exhilarated from the quick success of style theory, it was time to move on to food theory, which was a bit heftier than style theory, to say the least. Yeah, so food theory was a lot bigger of a job than the previous channel. I shouldn't have been surprised, considering the channel had an extra 3 years of life under its belt, but I just wasn't anticipating 5 times the amount of content. Out of the 209 videos on the food theory channel, 191 of them were actually videos. I guess after I saw the 50 shorts on the style theory channel, I expected more from food theory, but nope. Only 18 of those are shorts. At this point, hosting the project was starting to get anxious. Sure, we might have been able to crush style theory in a night, but food theory was an entirely different beast. The fear that the members of the project were just gonna get burnt out and stop contributing altogether was starting to get immense. But to my surprise, we actually managed to complete all of food theory in less than 24 hours. This was the first time I had grasped just how devoted this side of the internet was. Everyone was being so supportive and cooperative with one another, and were actively encouraging other members to keep chugging along. But with all that being said, let's get into the actual data. Something we need to cover for the first time in this video, because it's the first time it's become relevant, is that for any FNAF video on these channels, we're just going to be considering it a downright reference. You'll see as we scroll through the list that while for the majority of the lifetime, FNAF was not talked about on this channel directly, in the final stretch, they managed to squeak out 3 in rapid succession. The brain rot only got stronger with him the longer he did his job. Out of the 191 videos on the channel, a whopping 21 either mentioned or were directly talking about Five Nights at Funny's. Honorary mention to the Chuck E. Cheese lore video, as there was about a minute and a half of dedicated FNAF content. When you plug in the data, this means that there's about 11.29% chance that food theory is going to be talking about FNAF. I gotta say, it feels wrong knowing the channel with a dedicated 3 FNAF videos and a wink and nod during just about any mascot themed episode comes up with 5% less than the fashion channel. But I guess it's to be expected with the portions we were working with at the time. Now, as good a place as any to point out that there was a very good chance there were probably 1 or 2 videos out there that we might have missed a reference in. Given just how many videos we had to watch, and with how many people were involved, over 50 of us, this stuff is kind of bound to happen. I'll be pinning a comment with all the totals and a link to the spreadsheet. If you find something that we missed for some reason, go ahead and reply to that comment and I'll do my best to keep things updated. That way, no matter what, we'll always have the proper data. But it was at this point that I had to sit down with the Faz Pack and tell them that we needed to take a break for a minute. These troopers were chewing through every video like babies with Cocomelon, and I was afraid if we kept it up at this point, we would actually suffer some burnout. So giving everybody a break, me and the rest of the mod team decided to start working on the spreadsheet. So starting off day 4, it was time to tackle film theory. Like with food theory, the team and I were in for an even larger challenge than we had just tackled. Since history just loves repeating itself like that, we had over double what food theory served up for us in a total of 424 videos. As before, I was worried that the team was going to get overwhelmed with the challenge, but like always, I was proven wrong. Because remember when I sat the Cocomelon heads down and told them to take a break? Well, not everybody listened, because within minutes of opening the project up to film theory, some crazy contributors had like 20 video citations down. Shout out to Princess Swagger, who literally dropped like every Disney and anime theory within minutes of starting. This meaning that despite the massive quantity increase we were facing, within just a few hours, we were over 33% done with the channel. And then in just a little over 26, we had completed the whole damn thing. This was a part of the project I was fully expecting to take 2, hell, maybe even 3 days to complete, based off how long food theory took us. But no, just when I thought I had told the team to slow down, they said, "Hey, hit the gas, fellas!" So after the day had passed, I was eager to run the numbers. Of course, the video count skyrocketed compared to food theory. That meant so did the references. So when I loaded in all the numbers, I was surprised to find that we had 41 videos with FNAF references, which comes out to a hair over 10% again. Okay, I'm not going to stand here and pretend like this is some crazy revelation. I know that the majority of these are gonna come from game theory, but I am floored that somehow Matthew Potemkin inadvertently kept his FNAF obsession shockingly consistent across 2 channels. At this point, I had to see what game theory yielded. Here we are, folks, our old stomping grounds. The channel I, like many of you, first became a fan of, and was the major inspiration of this video. It was around 2020 when I first thought of this video. I was going through a game theory binge at the time when I realized almost every single video I was watching where something spooky was going on, there was a FNAF reference hiding somewhere in there. Or anytime something indie horror was mentioned at all, Matpat would usually be quick to say, "What is this? Five Nights at Freddy's?" And I was genuinely curious to see just how many times he was doing this. So there we were, day 5, and everyone was foaming at the mouth to get started. While there were certainly members whose favorites were food theory or style theory, game theory was the cult classic. I found that there were so many people that were just eager to rewatch some childhood favorite theories, like Petska or the Doki Doki series. The hype was so massive, we had to clump series into playlists and send them out in droves to people, setting up reservations to make sure that not everyone were doing the same 10 groups of videos. Now, as for the video count total, you might be expecting something crazy high after the pattern we've seen so far. And when you take a glance at the 681 videos there at the time, you might be thinking we're onto something with that. Well, believe it or not, but game theory actually ended up having less videos to work through than film theory. How the fuck is that possible? Well, for starters, like always, you gotta remove the shorts, which subtracted around 49. Then by the time you remove the boatload of FNAF theories, since we don't have to watch those to get our total, then the first year or so of the channel before FNAF even was a thing, God, such simpler times those were. By the time you do all of that, you've only got around 380 videos. This ended up serving as a nice closing act for the group. As it meant for the first time in the journey, we weren't climbing uphill. This ended up taking about a day and a half regardless though. At this point, a lot of us decided to slow things down a bit and really enjoy our final few hours. Not so much worrying about the grind and more so sharing clips and quotes with one another. I have more to say about this, but I don't want to keep you guys waiting too much longer. So let's get into the final totals. Out of the 461 videos, including all the FNAF theories for simplicity, we came out to a total of 232 references across all the videos post FNAF 1. That is a little over 50%. The odds are in your favor on a coin flip if the funny man on the internet talk show is going to mention the funny bear. But we're not done yet because we have to combine all 4 channels into the definitive Matpat FNAF ratio. So let's crank those funny numbers, Kian.
That's not my...
Totaling the references across all 4 channels and dividing them by the total amount of videos in general, we have a FNAF to Matt ratio of 27% total, meaning that any video that has Matpat in it post 5 bears at Fred Nuts has a 27% chance about talking about said Fred Nuts. It is no wonder he found it fitting for his closing shot of his career to be entering Scott Cawthon's domain. Of course, like I mentioned earlier, there is a decent chance we might have missed a few of these references, or accidentally counted one when there wasn't. So again, make sure to check the pinned comment for any revisions about that. But before we roll the credits and wrap things up here today, I actually do want to go a bit off script and just give a few thanks. For starters, I know I've already made it pretty evident in the video so far, but I do want to thank the entire team that helped me put this together. This was a video I've wanted to make for a really long time, and seriously, if I tried to do this alone, even though this video kinda came out 6 months later than I meant it to, I probably would still be watching the videos to this day just to get the research done. So to see so many people be willing to jump in and help me on this crazy task was insane. The love that the community had for Matpat, that they were willing to go through every video within like 5 days, crazy. Honestly, like, I know you guys are watching this, what is wrong with you? And of course, I do have to thank Mr. Matthew Patthew himself. I know I'm very late to the thank you party. It's been months since you've retired at this point, but your videos are genuinely some of my favorites. Your videos have gotten me through so many hard times, so many sick weeks at home or long drives at work. You've kept me entertained, and you've just been a really cool guy to have around in my life, even if it is vicariously. Although we did get to meet at that Game Lab launch party, which was super cool. I got to learn how to sword fight, I got to meet Nate Wants to Battle. Great day, great day. But regardless, before I go tangenting into my own visual novel of Joe X Matpat, thank you so much. I know there's not a good chance that you see this video, but if you do, you've had an amazing impact on me and millions of other people across the internet. And that cannot go unsaid. But without further ado, that's going to wrap up our little installment here. I know this isn't the Persona vs. Island video a lot of people were hoping for. That's still coming on the way, but I just wanted to do this for me. and I guess a little bit for Matpat. Thank you everybody for watching, and I will see you next time. Oh yeah, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and hit the funny